The yodel of a loon is a long rhyme with repetitive notes and can last up to 6 seconds. It's used to contact other loons on nearby territories. And in the Olin Science Building, we know this melodious song because one uses it some mornings to call our attention to a new day of work. We often call Barbara Stebbins-Boaz by her musical initials, BSB. It comes with the contributions from the biology department faculty and students and staff of today and 2 decades past. How does one measure 2 decades of dedicated teaching, research, and service from a person as intelligent, caring, and generous as Barbara? Perhaps we should measure her by the number of frogs we find in her office. Last time I visited, I found more than 14. These frogs are the objects of affection gifted to Barbara for a letter of recommendation that got someone into medical school, sentimental token to their favorite professor at graduation, or just because the warty toad looks so funny and BSB has a great sense of humor. One framed piece of art has a frog with a large letter X. The X is of the genus of the African clawed frog, better known to biologists as Xenopus laevis. The word Xenopus means strange foot, and laevis means smooth. Since her arrival to Willamette in 1989, Xenopus has meant undergraduate research opportunities into understanding the pattern of embryo and egg development in this popular biomedical model animal. Although the rat may be the most famous lab animal, this frog is the go-to for questions about how vertebrate eggs behave before, at, and immediately after the moment of fertilization, how one cell becomes two, two becomes four, four 16, and what happens when things go wrong. BSB's connections to the liberal arts and research go back to 1980 when she graduated magna cum laude in biology and French literature from Mount Holyoke College. She completed the Brown University in 1989, worked extensively at Worcester Foundation for Biomedical Research, briefly taught at Wheaton College and the University of Massachusetts Medical Schools before coming to Salem. Early in her career, Barbara and Willamette students discovered that 2,4-dichlorophenoliacetic acid, better known as 2,4-D, one of the oldest and most widely available herbicides in the world, impacted the development of Xenopus eggs. More than a dozen students have their names on the publications that called attention to how this hormonally based herbicide stops the development of healthy eggs by targeting translational and post-translational mechanisms in the most basic biochemistry of the cell. Barbara's expertise as a teacher and the range of her courses over her career has spanned a scale from biochemistry to whole organisms, but focused primarily on cell biology, genetics, and advanced methods in developmental biology. In that last class, we often heard from her teaching lab the peep, peep, peeps of baby chicks, or the oohs and ahs of a student watching a tadpole as it rotated in its jelly egg. We appreciate we're in bad circumstances, including one year when so many faculty were retiring, were on administrative leave, or on sabbatical, that there were only 3 full-time tenure-track faculty members working. She did that with a smile and her usual good-natured way. Barbara's been a model of how to find balance in life, especially when life is complicated. Even with her strenuous teaching and research and service, she cared for her spouse through a terminal illness and for family members in trouble. She's made our academic region stronger by leading a National Science Foundation grant to network universities and colleges throughout Oregon. She engages with students so they become devoted alumni, seeking her out years after they graduate. She wrote our first ever Murdoch Startup Grant, and she is a prized member of the Willamette Master Chorus, singing choral music locally and internationally as well. How does one measure 2 decades of BSB? Maybe we could look at her office door. There you'll find a small orange wallet-sized card taped to the glass. The title of the card is A Guide to Transforming Power. It has 12 simple, clear points about how to resolve conflicts in stressful environments. And she gave each of us in the biology department, a copy of it at the start of this year, her last year, and a year that she chaired the biology group. Perhaps to Barbara's sense of humor, I discovered that the Guide to Transforming Power was made in the Alternatives to Violence Project, a workshop developed for prisoners in New York. It is now a widely adapted workshop for community centers, women's groups, and groups like our own that want to make themselves better. Barbara Stebbins-Boaz has been a peaceful, transforming power at Willamette, and we are grateful for the exemplary life she has shared. We are happy for the new life she has been so grateful for your career and contributions to Willamette University. Thank you, Barbara.